Our good friend decided to join us for the New Year's holidays in Cancun, which turned out to be the perfect excuse to try out the new catamaran tour to Isla Mujeres, offered by the Xcaret group. We're huge fans of their adventure parks, so we were really excited about this. Xcaret offers two versions of this tour, the Catamaran Lite and the Catamaran Prime tour. The Lite is a bit more budget-friendly, offering a simple lunchbox with a sandwich and some fruit, but it skips the beach club visit on Isla Mujeres. We opted for the Prime option because it includes a delicious full-course lunch and an open bar at the fabulous ZaZa Beach Club on Isla Mujeres. This is a 7-hour adventure, which starts bright and early at 9 a.m. The itinerary is super enticing, starting with snorkeling at Meco reef, followed by a relaxing lunch at ZaZa Beach Club. After that, some free time to explore downtown Isla Mujeres before heading back to Cancun, where the tour wraps up with a visit to the Xcaret Scenic Tower. We purchased our tickets online with the help of Xcaret's chat support, which was super helpful, and began prepping for our trip. Memory cards for the camera, emptied, check. Camera and drone batteries, fully charged, check. A change of clothes and towels, packed, check and check. The next morning, we had to be at the Xcaret pier in Cancun's hotel zone by 8:30 for check-in. We breezed through the process with our digital tickets, signed a liability waiver, and got our admission wristbands. Soon after, we were welcomed aboard the catamaran, where the crew greeted us with snacks and non-alcoholic drinks. What a nice touch. By the way, it's not an adults-only excursion, so you might see some kids around. But the music on board was so lively and loud, we hardly noticed anything else. Plus, the catamaran is pretty spacious, with 2 decks, plenty of seating, and a bar. Just remember, the shade is only on the bottom deck. The catamaran we were on was pretty new, and everything was in tip-top shape. Before we knew it, we were setting sail for our first stop, a snorkeling session at Meco reef, nestled between Cancun and Isla Mujeres, but closer to Cancun's northern side. And hey, if snorkeling isn't your thing, no worries. You can totally skip it, kick back on the boat, and just soak in the scenery with a drink in hand. After a quick safety briefing, one of the crew members handed out our life jackets and snorkeling gear, and then it was time to dive in. The water at this reef is about 2-3 meters deep, and the current is not too strong. It's amazing how many different marine species call this place home. There are fish, mollusks, corals, and even some statues from the Cancun Underwater Museum of Art. A little tip before you jump in, put on your snorkeling mask and make sure it fits well and that you can breathe easily through it. Despite the gear being quite new, we had a little hiccup with one of our masks. The air valve malfunctioned, and sadly, that person had to head back to the catamaran. It was a bit of a bummer since the snorkeling time isn't super long. Also, it's really important to keep track of your location. Remember, it's not just your boat out there, and in open water, it's super easy to lose your bearings. And do keep an eye out for other boats. The area can get pretty busy. But don't worry too much about safety. The crew members are always keeping a watchful eye on you. They'll make sure you know your catamaran's name, ours was named Delfina, and give you clear instructions on what to do. Just follow them and you'll be fine. Plus, there are lifeguards in the water with you, ready to help if you need it. Overall, it was a blast! The coral reef isn't too far from the shore, and you get around 30 minutes to explore it. It's a guided swim, not exactly free roaming, but it's still a fantastic experience. We saw all sorts of fish, coral formations, and even some underwater statues. The art piece we saw is called Blessings, and it was created by Cuban artist Elier Amado Gil. It's a set of 9 hand-shaped sculptures, all giving blessings. By the way, they're made from pH-neutral cement, which allows coral, seaweed, and algae to grow and develop on them. On the day of our adventure, it was a little windy, and the sea was rather choppy. Our underwater footage from the snorkeling turned out a little shaky because of that. And no, it wasn't because we had a few drinks beforehand. Actually, the crew doesn't even start serving alcoholic beverages until after the snorkeling session wraps up. Safety first, right? By the time we wrapped up our snorkeling session, it was already time for lunch. So we headed over to Isla Mujeres, which, fun fact, translates as Island of Women from Spanish. Since we had the Xcaret Prime Tour package, our lunch was all set. Our catamaran took us to this amazing spot called ZaZa Beach Club. It's on the southern side of the island and has everything you could want. Stunning views, a beautiful beach, and all the amenities like sun loungers, umbrellas, a swimming pool, and Wi-Fi. When we arrived, the place was surprisingly empty, just us. The staff welcomed us with glasses of traditional cold hibiscus tea, locally known as Jamaican water. It's very tasty and refreshing. The beach club area was very nice and relaxing, and the pool with its glass front and comfy beds was particularly cool, super Instagrammable. The lunch was a buffet, Caribbean and Mexican style, and it was delicious. It offered a wide array of taco choices, roasted chicken and fish, as well as the traditional Yucatec Mayan dish named cochinita pibil, which is a slow-roasted pork. This was our favorite, and we highly recommend you to try it with a couple of tacos. Also, there were various salads, fresh fish and shrimp ceviches, complemented by a selection of desserts such as fresh fruits, jellies, and crepes. Plus, there was an open bar, and the servers were always on hand to keep our drinks topped up. After lunch, we lounged on the beach, soaking in the views with our drinks. The beach club is nestled in a tranquil and secluded green area, offering excellent shade and stunningly beautiful views. You get about an hour and 20 minutes at this beach club, which is plenty of time to enjoy a good meal, have some drinks, and either explore the area or just relax by the beach or pool. By the time we were leaving, the place was starting to fill up with people from other boats coming in for their lunch break. Even with others around, there was ample space for everyone to enjoy lunch and unwind by the beach or pool without any sense of rush or overcrowding. Although it was nice to have had that quiet time there before it got busy. After our lunch, the catamaran took us to the downtown of Isla Mujeres, which is located on the northern part of the island. The journey was brief, about 15 minutes or so, with excellently curated music accompanying the stunning views. We docked at the Perla Negra Pier, which translates from Spanish as the Black Pearl. There are a couple of restaurants with nice beaches and stunning views right by this pier. To exit the pier, you pass through a gift shop. Here's a fun option. They offer free tequila tasting. If that's your thing, they'll give you a bracelet to join in. We decided to skip it and headed straight for Playa Norte, which is hands down one of the best beaches there. Once you leave the gift shop, just turn left and keep going straight. Stepping out of the shop, the street is buzzing with energy. Loads of tourists and street vendors everywhere. It's a lot to take in, especially if it's your first time there. Here's our tip. Cross the street, walk a few blocks in, and then take a left. It's much calmer there. And don't worry, the beach isn't far from where the catamaran docks. You really can't miss it. There's even a helpful blue line on the floor you can follow. You get about an hour and a half of free time on Isla Mujeres. But if you're not ready to leave just yet, no problem. You can stay longer and catch the Xcaret ferry back to Cancun, which departs every hour. It'll drop you off at the same sea terminal in the Cancun hotel zone as the catamaran, so you won't get lost. The catamaran crew will fill you in on this option before you get to Isla Mujeres. Playa Norte is a public beach with stunning white sand and calm, shallow turquoise waters. It's pretty popular, so it can get crowded, but it's worth it. The beach is lined with restaurants offering loungers, umbrellas, as well as beachside bar and restaurant service. It's a perfect spot for those Caribbean chill vibes and Instagram shots. We ended up taking a quick dip at Playa Norte before wandering back through the charming streets of Isla Mujeres to catch our catamaran back to Cancun. Our ride back to Cancun was just as enjoyable, thanks to the Xcaret crew who really went the extra mile. They were amazing, constantly checking in on us with drinks and snacks in hand. They even threw a little dance party on the deck of the catamaran. The music was spot on, making for a super fun trip back. Honestly, we were having such a blast that we lost track of time. And here's a tip. When you get back to Cancun, you've got free access to the Xcaret Scenic Tower with your admission wristband. Don't skip this. The views from 80 meters up of the Cancun hotel zone are absolutely stunning. It's not scary at all. The tower gently lifts and rotates, so you'll get a 360-degree view no matter where you're seated. So if you're wondering if the Xcaret Catamaran Tour is worth it, the answer is a big yes. It's a luxurious, comfortable, and super fun ride with all the amenities you could ask for on board. Also, right now is the perfect time to go because it's still a bit of a hidden gem, so it's not too crowded yet. We absolutely loved our time on the tour and would totally recommend it for a quick, enjoyable trip to Isla Mujeres. Everything was so well organized. Here are a few tips to make the most of your experience. Book online in advance. The space on the catamaran is limited, so be sure to book your seat and buy the tickets in advance. Pick the upper deck for incredible views of the turquoise waters between Cancun and Isla Mujeres. Just don't forget sunscreen and a hat, as there's no shade up there. If you prefer shade or want to be closer to the bar, the lower deck is the way to go. Bring a towel, biodegradable sunscreen, and some cash for tipping the staff. Don't miss the Scenic Tower. Your ticket includes free admission to the Xcaret Scenic Tower at the ferry terminal in Cancun. The views are stunning. And for those who live in Quintana Roo and have a valid ID, there's a local discount. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope this helps paint a picture of what the tour's like. If you enjoyed our video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It will mean the world to us.